Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of April. We're actually going to do a little bit of work this afternoon. As I mentioned yesterday, I went to Cass County for a special hearing of the Michigan Supreme Court. The people in Cass County and the Pokagon tribe of Potawatomi Indians did a wonderful job. Potawatomi tribe is quite active with the tribal court there. And I'm not sure exactly how they refer to that, but anyway, they were a big part of it, and it was very interesting. And all of our Supreme Court was there, and a case was actually argued before the court. So I've been on vacation, as you know. I had a busy day yesterday, and then we are gone most of the day today. And we have one of the parties. I set two landlord-tenant matters, each of which looked like it had some thorny issues. These came up before I left for vacation, and I set them here for today rather than take up time on a landlord-tenant day. And I decided not to pull my hair back. I wore a suit today because of the Supreme Court hearing. It looks like people are here and ready to go. Anyway, thank you all for saying hello. It is good to be back from vacation. As I said, I have meaningful work to do that I enjoy doing. And looks like everybody is here, nearly everybody. I also met today with the Supreme Court media advisor, John Nevin. He'd been quite helpful to me in the past.
Welcome back to Michigan.
Thank you. I've been back for a couple days, but we were gone this morning. There was a special session of the Supreme Court held in Cass County that Judge Pattison and I attended. It was a nice ceremony. Actually conducted an oral argument on a pending criminal case. Very interesting facts. And then we came back. All right. Amelia Parker is here. Let me give her a proper name. All right, we have everyone we need but plaintiff's counsel. Ms. Kalmbach is here from Riverside. Natledge Zarit is here. Ms. Bauer has filed an appearance on her behalf, and Amelia Parker is here. These had some similar issues, so I set them for the same time. Ms. Zarit, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
Ms. Parker, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Visconti drew the short straw and had to come to St. Joe County today. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Robert Visconti, P61756 for Riverside Townhouses.
All right, we have two cases. These are set kind of at an unusual time on a Wednesday afternoon, but I had a block of time available and I'd set these off the regular landlord-tenant docket. Carrie Zanin was here last time and Meg Bauer was here, not with a formal appearance, but on the side, observing what was going on. She has filed an appearance in the Natledge Zarit's case, so we'll set that one aside. Lori Kalmbach, the manager at Riverside, is here with us also. Let's start with Amelia Parker's case. As I said, some of the issues in there were similar. We determined, or at least it was alleged, that the arrearage was $4,016.16 through April. The defendant represented that there had been a balance that's been carried over for quite some time. she's been on a plan where she's been overpaying $100 per month over the rent to try to get caught up on the balance. And there were also issues about how the rent was calculated. Mr. Visconti, what's your understanding here today?
So, Your Honor, I do apologize that Mrs. Annan could not make return appearance. She sent an SOS a short time ago. She's waylaid and delayed in another court for an in-person hearing in Flint. My understanding is that the 4,016.16 is the correct amount of rent. We have not received information from our client's office indicating that a different amount or any adjustment would be due. I would certainly defer to my client as to whether or not there are any issues with that calculation, but our understanding is that is still the correct amount that's owed.
Well, I had a understanding, and Ms. Kalmbach, if you could unmute, and I know you inherited some of this and you came to this complex, Ms. Cousineau and others were here before you, that Ms. Parker was in a program to get caught up on the rent. And now the company is asking for the payment of this large arrearage. What can you tell us about that?
I didn't find anything in her file that said she was on a payment agreement.
There's just a $4,000 arrearage?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you have any idea why it took so long for them to bring this action? If this is a holdover from 2023?
Yeah, it's got to be something that they started before I was here. I was looking in the dockets and it looks like, I'm not sure even when they first sent this to the lawyer. I see it starting on the ledger in February. But as far as seeing in a file, I'm not sure why they took so long.
Ms. Parker, what's your position?
What do you mean by that, Your Honor?
Well, there's a large arrearage and it's going to be due within 10 days or you're going to be compelled to move. Have you sought any further emergency help?
I have contacted DHS. DHS keeps denying me, saying it's not a non-eviction, which I don't understand that when it's court papers from you.
Well, and we tell you, you do not need a judgment to get assistance from DHS. And then DHS tells people, well, you need a judgment. They don't by law, but DHS has a different view of it. Well, you're about to get a judgment, which is going to say that you owe $4,016.16 through April. It's going to go up when May hits, $185 in cost. The total is $4,201.16. I want you to present this. Now, unfortunately, they didn't give me a judgment. So Mr. Visconti, you or somebody's going to have to get me a judgment with those numbers in it. Let's repeat. 4,016.16. Oh, here is Elizabeth Ellison. I'm not sure. Through March. Excuse me, through April.
Through April, Your Honor.
$185 in court costs for a total of $4,201.16. Today is April 24th. There's 30 days in April, which makes the due day May 4th. We don't usually do these on a Wednesday. May 4th is a Saturday. So the date is May 6th. Now, Ms. Parker, you need to pay this entire amount or you're subject to being evicted. A partial payment will not prevent the writ of eviction. So if DHS says we're going to give you $3,000, you still owe $1,200 plus you'll owe May's rent. Now, I want to tell you something else. They don't have to evict you on May 6th. They can. They can also work with you for up to 56 days in an effort to get the rent paid, then another 56 before they serve it. But apparently this has been in the offing for some time. They sent it to council in February. here we are in April, almost May. So you're gonna get this order from me, which is called a judgment.
Okay.
And that's what DHS is looking for. I want you to share this with them. I want you also to go to Neighborhood Inc. and see if they have any assistance they could give you.
Where
I
is that at,
also
Your
want,
Honor?
it's here in Centerville. It's in the paperwork I sent you. It's got the number on it.
Okay,
All right. I also want you to stay in contact with your manager, Ms. Kalmbach, and let her know what you intend to do. Otherwise, if you can't pay it, you're gonna have to move on or after May 6th, or they can get a writ of eviction and put you out. If you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address within 4 days of your moving. So, apparently they did some additional research. There were no other issues. That figure is correct. You told me you paid an additional 100 in March and 100 in April. But this is an arrearage that's been hanging on for some time. Your rent also is market rate now, or closer to it. It's $700 a month. So, Mr. Visconti, have you got our email information?
Your Honor, I actually did just email over a proposed judgment to the 3B civil. Email.
All right, very good, thank you. And I realize you came in on very short notice. Now, someone else came in for a minute from Cox's office, and I let her in and then she disappeared. So maybe Carrie sent out 2 emergency requests for help, and she got here and realized you were already here.
When the bat
So-
light goes up, we just log in, Your Honor. So
All right, well, as you know, we try to start on time here.
understood.
And, but I understand. Well, in fact, that's one of the things we were discussing is what Zoom has done to the civil practice, and what Zoom has done particularly to landlord-tenant practice. So here, we at least try to start on time. But once you're there, you can't always control how long your hearing is gonna take. Ms. Parker, I'm
Yes,
gonna
sir.
send you that order out in today's mail. I want you to share with DHS. And if you want me to email it, you call the court and we'll email it to you and you'll have it immediately. Anyway, it's a lot of money, $4,201.16. And then on May 1st, another month's rent is due. So let me repeat, share with DHS, go also to Neighborhood Inc., stay in contact with your manager, Lori. If you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. Do
Okay.
you have any questions for me?
No, I'm gonna probably go down to the office because I do need to talk to her.
All right, very good.
I'll be here till
All right,
5.
good luck.
So when, baby?
I'll be here till 5 today and 9 to 5 tomorrow. Okay?
I'm gonna try to walk down there. It's kind of hard for me to breathe today.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right, baby.
all right, well, she has a twin sister, and sometimes I joke around with her about whether it's her or her twin sister, but I didn't think she was in much of a mood for joking around today, so we just stuck to business. All right, let's talk about our next case, which is Riverside Townhouses versus Natledge Zarit's. She is here. Meg Bauer from Western Michigan Legal Aid has filed an appearance on her behalf, and we have a representative from Aaron Cox's office, Mr. Robert Visconti. Now, this one, there were some issues here about how things were calculated, whether rent was, I couldn't even tell. It was 288, and then it was 81, or I don't know. And this is another long holdover on the balance. And the balance was substantial, $4,226.45. So what I had hoped was that both parties would meet with Meg at legal aid and discuss it. Meg and Carrie would discuss it while I was sitting on Siesta Beach and have a resolution when I got back. But we have some unresolved issues. So let's start with you, Mr. Visconti. What's the Riverside's position on this?
So, Your Honor, I can tell you that I am aware that Ms. Bauer and Ms. Annan have had some discussions on this. And I believe that the parties are actually in agreement to adjourn the matter to continue try to work it out. I don't know. I don't know exactly, to be honest with you, what the arrearage is right now. I'm reviewing the exchanges via email between Ms. Bauer and Mrs. Annan, and it seems as if there is some progress being made. But I can't tell you for certain what the arrearage is right now, taking into account the discussion that has gone on between counsel today.
Ms. Bauer, what can you tell us?
I can tell you that Mr. Visconti's representation is accurate, that Ms. Annan and I have exchanged on this case, and that ultimately we're both in agreement that we need to look through some more documents to reach resolution. But as far as I can tell, we've boiled the issues down to two primary points of contention. The first has to do with the current rental rate and when that rental rate took effect. And at this point, the plaintiff contends that the rental rate from December of 2023 forward is either $288 or $299. The defense's contention is that rental rate should be $81 based on the most recent recertification that Ms. Zarit's received in the notice, that would be the rent that she has the notice for. So perhaps Riverside was attempting to correct some numbers, but that as of October 25th, the most recent rental rate that Ms. Zarit's received was $81. And so our position is that is the rental rate she should be at least until that changes. The second point of contention in this case has to do with the rental rate from January of 2023 through August of 2023. And Riverside contends that Ms. Zarit's rent is $599 a month for that period of time. And the defense's position is that her rental rate should be closer to $92 a month for that time. And the basis for the distinction there is a calculation of Ms. Zarit's income, including about $20,000 that Ms. Zarit does not have, never had, and that we believe there is not a sufficient record to support. Those two numbers have roughly to do with some alleged business income, about $8,000 in business income, and then what appears to be an roughly $11,000 mistake in calculating the child support. Essentially was calculated twice. So as Mr. Visconti represented, Ms. Zannon and I, Attorney Zannon and I, have agreed that there's a lot going on in this case, and that really to get to the right answer, we just need to keep digging a little bit. But ultimately, if you take the defense's position, the numbers of overassessment come down to a little over $4,000. But this isn't solid yet because we're still calculating.
Lori, do
Yeah.
you have a current alleged arrearage on Riverside's position?
Let me pull up her ledger.
$3,753.45 through March. Would that be accurate?
It sounds right. I just want to make sure that I get the right amount here. I just have to grab her ledger.
I have that through April, Mr. Visconti, based on the ledger I'm looking at.
Yep, April would be $3,753.45.
All right. And how much is Riverside say the currently rent is, monthly rent?
$288.
288. So if we added May,
$4,041.45.
$5,3753.45 plus 288, 404145.
That's correct. That's what I
And,
got.
and legal aid believes that their calculation is about $4,000 off. So we have a fundamental problem. The plaintiff contends rent is 288. Defendant contends rent should be 81. I don't have an escrow order in place. Is Ms. Zarit's making any monthly payment?
The last payment I have record was February 1st for $81.
So she hasn't paid March or April.
I suspect, Judge, that she would be willing to do that. The representation she made to me was that she had been under the impression her rent was $81 until she was served with the court paperwork, at which point she was surprised to see $288 and wasn't sure what to do at that point. So I don't think she's opposed to paying her rent, or is not intentionally withholding rent or anything like that, and has the ability to pay. At least was anticipating $81 a month.
Well, she should pay at least 81. Right now, April's rent is past due and May's rent is about to be due. So we're going to look for a place to put this. And I'm a little jammed up because I've been gone. So let's see what we've got. We don't have any other holidays in May. The drug court conference is in the middle of the week, so I won't miss any landlord-tenant dates. That's next week. So let's see what we have. May 6th at 2:30.
That's fine with me, sir.
And that will work for our office as well.
And if we need to continue again, defendant is to pay April and May's rent at $81. I'm not making a finding that rent is $81, that it's no less than $81. And so I'd like to get that coming. This is another one where this arrearage has come from the past. And in fact, right now, Ms. Zarit's, I don't think could even go to Keystone, ask for assistance, because we can't even tell how much money she owes. If Ms. Bauer's calculation is right, she doesn't owe much of anything. So we're going to have to get to where we need to get to. But the party's been working on it, and Ms. Zarit's missed out on all of this fun. And maybe you guys can get a little closer to the finish line before February 6th. So I'm sure I'll put other cases. That case days already sort of filled up, but I stuck this in there. I'll try to save a half an hour for it. I have a bunch of landlord tenant cases starting at 3. So Mr. Visconti, thank you for coming in on short notice. And the rest of you will address this further on May 6th at 2:30. And I'll look for that order that you emailed and sign it for Ms. Parker. Anything further we need to put on the record here?
Judge, will your staff put together that escrow order?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. She didn't pay March's rent, but I'm just gonna go with April and May, and you're free to pay March's rent. I'm not gonna order it, but it is behind even by your calculation. All right. Thank you. I will see you on May 6th, and maybe I'll see you sooner than that. I've got a full load on Friday. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.